Could the U.S. Attorney General be prosecuted? I spoke to P.J. Crowley, the former Assistant Secretary of State, who says Russia is a major challenge for the United States.
There is a very significant and major issue here, which is what did the Russians do in 2016 and how did they do it? That requires a high-level investigation. We'll see if the institutions such as the FBI and Congress are up to that task. If not, I don't think it's out of the question, to think about a 9/11 kind of commission. The dilemma with a special prosecutor is that's a secret process, and it's a different bottom line. The bottom line is, was there a crime committed? I think first and foremost, we have to understand this challenge to American sovereignty and take appropriate action because what the Russians have done in the United States in 2016, they're highly capable of doing a similar thing in Europe in 2017, and we have an election coming up in 2018.
You look at the interactions. You've got Flynn, Kushner, Manafort, Page, Sessions, all meeting before the inauguration with Russians. Why is the question, and why to go to such great lengths to conceal it, even Sessions not admitting it under oath?
Well, I think the Sessions example, on the one hand, is a self-inflicted wound. If I've met Ambassador Kislyak, he's a very, very good diplomat, and if you would engage with him in a conversation, you probably would not forget that. So how he, under oath twice, he failed to recall, those conversations is odd. And obviously, I think the pressure built to where he understood that, whether we're talking about perception or talking about reality, he had compromised his ability to make any kind of judgment as to, these ongoing investigations of Russian influence and the Trump contacts. I think the administration's going to have to, try to figure out how to get ahead of this, at some point in time. As you are saying, Mike, the pressure just keeps building, and the churn is going to interfere with his ability to govern.
The 24-hour news cycle, there's a lot of people who are able to sustain it. In the case of Flynn, the story just kept going and going and going. Is that going to happen with Sessions, or is it just a 24-hour news cycle? We move on because Nancy Pelosi, others, Democratic lawmakers saying he should resign.
Well, I think for Sessions, he's done the only thing he can do and recuse himself from wherever the investigations lead. I mean, we're still early in the Trump presidency, but I think that on the one hand, he has to begin to govern, and obviously this particular week with his broad budget guidance, he's now making choices that are going to make it difficult, to govern, even within his own party, how much money the federal government's spending and in what pots they're spending it. These are going to be very, very tough issues. I think for the Trump administration, the sooner they get from, this rhetoric, to actually governing will be helpful. By the same token, obviously, we've seen not only during the campaign, during the transition, and now during the Trump presidency, they're having an awful lot of trouble getting beyond, this issue of Russia, and they're going to have to find a way to get in front of it.
P.J. Crowley, always a pleasure. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.